Brad Thor joins us now from perhaps, I got to say, I think that's one of the best decorated offices or rooms I've ever seen. It's so swanky. Brad, it's so good to see you. Love the room.
It's good. It's so nice to see you, Dana. Yeah, this is in my office here, so pretty cool.
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
and to see no wonder. See, it's easy to write such great books when you have a space like that to write in. All right, so we're here. Your congratulations, by the way,
thank
on
you.
your latest book, Deadfall. This is very interesting too, by the way, when I was diving into this, because obviously we've had all these headlines with Russia, Ukraine. I mean, this is the Russian mercenary, and I was just thinking of, it looked like a faux coup that was happening in Russia with their mercenary group, the Wagner group or Wagner group. That you have got to be. You write a book like every year. You have to be a little nervous when you're matching headlines, because you never know how the news is going to come out. How do you do that? Because you always beat them. You beat the headlines when it goes to print, and it always works out in your favor. So you're magical somehow.
I'm lucky is what it is. It's just a lot of hard work and trying to stay just a couple of steps ahead of the news cycle. But Dana, I grew up reading like Alistair MacLean, all these great World War II thrillers, and I always wanted to take my modern hero, Scott Harvath, and drop him into something like that, and never had the chance until now.
Yeah.
And so, I love Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, Fury with Brad Pitt, the tank movie. And I said,
it's great.
if I could ever do that with Harvath, and that's what I've done with Deadfall, is take Harvath and drop him into that conflict. And that was the jumping off point for this summer's thriller.
Yeah, and for people who don't, if they've never read this series, Scott Harvath is the protagonist in your series. He's the main character, and you can really start in anywhere. I mean, I think when I first started reading, I did not start with your first book. When I started reading yours, I was trying to remember what book I started with. I did not read any of it in chronological order at all. But you don't have to. You can dive in anywhere. But that seems natural that Harvath would go into this type of setting, and the news it really whets the appetite for it as well, because we're seeing all of this happen, and there's a lot of like callbacks to Cold War era. So that makes perfect sense that he would be in this setting. Give people, if they haven't checked this book out yet, and your book is out now, kind of give us the lay of the land here. What is he walking into? Because you're up against Russian mercenaries at this point.
Yep. So Harvath gets the word that an American citizen got trapped in Ukraine behind enemy lines. The United States can't commit a force to go in and try to pull her out, because that would mean putting boots on the ground in Ukraine, and the Russians could say, we're now at war with the United States. So Harvath, they can disavow. And they send Harvath by himself. The Ukrainians are so bogged down with the war, they can't really give him any support. He's allowed to grab three guys out of the Ukrainian Foreign Legion and take them, all English speakers, and try to track this woman down. And Harvath's got one job: find her, and then if you can, kill every single person who took her. And that's the Wagner group. This is a splinter group that went rogue off the Wagner group. And I actually based this on what happened towards the end of World War II, where Hitler sent his worst SS brigade into Poland. And some of the most horrific war crimes in World War II were committed by this SS brigade, where they were recruiting from prisons and insane asylums, the same way the real-life Wagner group today is doing the same thing. So Francis Fukuyama said history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. And I said, okay, this is my chance to take my contemporary guy and do a World War II style, Where Eagles Dare, Guns of Navarone kind of a thriller. And that's what I did with Deadfall.
We're talking with our good friend Brad Thor, New York Times bestselling author. His latest thriller, Deadfall, really, everything that we've been seeing with Ukraine, Russia, and the Wagner group. Because while you're reading the book, it's almost like you're casting from the news too, because you're seeing this. I'm not even going to try to pronounce Prigozhin, the guy's name, who's head of the Wagner group. When all these headlines were coming out,
Prigozhin,
yes,
yeah.
Prigozhin. Thank you. The Wagner group is the only thing I'm going to get out of that. The other names, I'm like, there's too many consonants. It's not going to happen. But because those, you hit the nail on the head. They were recruiting some of the stories we were getting, like these lowlives and these murderers, and and I get that some of it, is psychological warfare, but oh my gosh, your mind really sets the stage. And then you see this one guy, Harvath, our one American guy who's got to go in there and save the day, and he's up against, but he can do it. He's done it before. He could do it. He's going to do it again. The last time we talked, you were telling me, because I was asking you, well, where's this going to go? Because this is, you've had Harvath is a very successful character in this genre. And, people were talking, what is it going to go to the screen? Are you going to do like video games? Like there's like so much room for activities here, Brad. Can you tell us anything?
Well, so the book's got optioned by a major Hollywood studio, and we were about to go out with it as a television series, starting with Harvath more in contemporary times where he is right now, and then the writer's strike happened.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
we had to push pause, and so I've been sworn to secrecy on who's on board. We've got this incredible A-list Hollywood team on board, and unfortunately, during the strike, we had brought on board as our lead writer Manny Cotto, who wrote most of the 24 episodes.
Wow, yeah.
Guy, family
I
escaped
love
Cuba.
24.
Yeah, and he's a legend in Hollywood. He gets Harvath. He understands the mindset of the special operations community, the perfect writer. And sadly, Manny passed away 2 weeks ago from pancreatic cancer. So unfortunately, we lost him. We'll never be able to replace him. We'll find another great writer, but it won't be Manny Cotto. So, and right now, we have to wait for the writer's strike to be over until we can talk to writers. We're not allowed in the interim to speak with them. That's part of the strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
So
that makes
we're on
sense.
pause. Yeah, we're
I
on pause
can't
right
wait
now.
to see that. I can't. And even I'm just saying, video game. I think a lot of people would like to be able to play Harvath, and going through some of these theaters and being. I'm just saying, that would be that'd be very cool. Well, this book, Deadfall, I love this because I love I'm a history buff. I love World War II. I love World War One. I had family in World War II on either side. Not in terms of like the axis of evil, but we had people in France and we had people in the Pacific. Love Cold War as well. And so this really, I mean, it's just, I love the setting for it, and I love this character. He's such a strong character, and you put everything against this guy. Everything in the world you stack everything against him, and he still is able to come out and win the day. And we need more stories like that. We need American heroes that we can cheer for, especially with everything right now.
Amen. I agree. It's what they taught us in college when I went through the creative writing program at the University of Southern California was they said, it's Rocky or Jesus. It is a lovable protagonist who struggles against seemingly insurmountable odds and achieves success in the end. That was always kind of our framework when we went through the program at USC. So it's, I'm not saying Harvath is Rocky or Jesus, but it is that likable protagonist who has to struggle and you don't think he's going to make it, and he does, and you love to cheer for him, and you love to see him stack up the bodies of the bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. Well, congratulations on this book. This is your latest, Deadfall, which you can get it now. You can go to his website. You can go to Brad's website. You can find Brad on Twitter, Brad Thor, as well, and see it. Congratulations, my friend. It's been a long time since I've seen the last time I think I saw you in person. I think it was in Los Angeles. It was in sad circumstances. It was sad circumstances. But that's the last time I've seen you. So if you're ever in the Texas area, please holler.
You
We'd love
betcha.
to see you again. All right, thank you.
Be
Congrats,
great.
my friend.